All right, it is a rainy day in the RVA, so it's a good time to take a little time in the home office to make a video. And today we're going to be talking about the cost of living in Richmond, Virginia. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you some of my own personal bills so you can get an idea based on the size of my home where you may fall depending on the size of the home that you may purchase. With that being said, we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, the bad, about living in Richmond, Virginia, and the surrounding counties of Hanover, Henrico, Chesterfield, Powhatan, Goochland, and New Kent, then subscribe below and hit the notifications bell so you can be the first to know about the current market in Richmond, Virginia. My name's Scott Durnley with Joyner Fine Properties. My team and I get calls every day from people just like you looking to make the move to Richmond, Virginia, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. All that information is in the description below, and we can help you make a smooth move to Richmond, Virginia. All right, when talking about the cost of living, this is a real estate related channel. The first thing we're going to talk about are home prices. This could seem a little high, it could seem a little low. It's all a matter of perspective and where you're coming from. But I think in general, Richmond kind of falls right in the middle. I mean, we've always found their markets higher and their markets lower. And I feel like Richmond is right sort of in the middle of, maybe what the average of the country is. So I just ran some numbers from our MLS. And if you look in Richmond and the surrounding counties that I serve that were mentioned earlier, the median home price is $397,000. Now let's compare this to California, where that same median home price is about $800,000. If we look at New York, we're looking at a median home price of $700,000. So if you're coming from one of those areas, you're going to be experiencing about a 40 to 50% savings moving to Richmond, Virginia. Now, if you're thinking about renting prior to buying, to give you an idea of our rental market, and these are averages. If you're looking for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home, you're probably looking at around $1,500 to $1,700 a month. Now, if you up that to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home, you're most likely looking at somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 for renting. And then just to put this all in context with income, I Googled median income for Richmond, Virginia, and the median household income is $55,000. Now let's get outside of real estate and just take a look at some other items that you may be purchasing. A gallon of gas. Now gasoline is one of those things where we know it varies a whole lot. But currently, as of today, a gallon of gas, depending on where you're filling up in Richmond, will run you somewhere between $3.15 and $3.25 per gallon. An average meal, if you are dining solo, you are probably looking at around $18. Now, if it's a couple going out for dinner, let's say it's date night, that'll run you around on an average $60. I do know from experience, though, this can vary greatly depending on the number of drinks you have to have. So, keep that number low and your bill's gonna be looking a little better. All right, let's talk about some other staples, things that you may need. I don't need these as much anymore, but a men's haircut will run you around $25. For this head of hair, I feel like that's criminal. They should give me a discount. But sadly, I pay full boat for them to, spend 5 minutes on my hair. A woman's haircut will run about $125. So I can say the men got off a lot easier on that one, no matter how you cut it. An average craft beer. Now, Richmond is gotten really big in the craft beer brewing scene. I've mentioned that in several of my videos. But if you go to one of our many awesome breweries to get a pint of craft beer, that will typically run you around $6 to $7 for a pint. Now, if you're just out at your normal bar or restaurant and you order a domestic beer, because they're not going to give you one of those at one of these breweries, you're looking at about $4 to $5 for a domestic beer, and around $12 for a mixed drink. Your average gym membership in Richmond, that's going to run you about $50 a month. There are some that are more, there are some that are less, but if you're looking at averages, we're talking $50 a month. CrossFit, that's become, something big too. If you just don't want to go to the gym and, ride the elliptical or, get on the machines or the CrossFit gyms, they will run you about $130 per month. Childcare. Now, childcare is one spot where you could find some significant savings. On average, childcare in Richmond will run you around $425 to $450 per week. So there could be some significant savings for you there. Now, kind of jumping back into real estate taxes, if you look in my pros and cons videos, you'll see what I talk about different places and different tax rates. But just in general, a real quick recap here. City of Richmond, if you live in the city, you are going to have the absolute highest taxes per $100 of assessed value. City of Richmond will come in right at $1.20. If you go to the lower end of that, you have Goochland County winning the blue ribbon for lowest taxes, and that's going to come in at about 55 cents per $100 of assessed value. And then the other counties are all going to run, somewhere in between those two numbers. But Richmond is the only one that's over $1. Everybody else is below $1 per 100 of assessed value. All right, so I know this is the part of the video you've all been waiting for. I said in the intro that I would talk about my own personal bills. So this actually excites me a little bit because I do have pretty low bills. What I'm going to share with you are my own. This is based on a 4,200 square feet home. This is 4,200 square feet above grade. And I will disclose we do have an additional about 1,400 square feet in the basement. A couple things to keep in mind when I'm giving you these numbers are my house is a little bit newer. It was built in 2016. In some of the other videos I've mentioned that my wife is a custom home builder. So we did build our own house, and when we built it, we put many energy efficient features in the home. It's very well insulated. We have high efficiency HVAC equipment, very efficient windows and doors. So I am going to say our heating and cooling bills are probably less than your average home, but I can only give you based on what I have. And just also for context purposes, when I'm giving you these bills, there are 3 people living under roof in my home. So all right, let's get started with water and sewer. I went through my Quicken program this morning. I pulled up my bills, and our bi-monthly water bill averages right at about $120. So that's for 2 months. So each month we pay about $60 for water and sewer. For our neighborhood, trash is included with the HOA fee. Now I will say on that water bill, it will go up a fair amount in the summer when we put on the irrigation system. So it can double that can double easily in the summer months when we're running the sprinkler system. But a lot of folks aren't going to have a sprinkler system or want one. So if you're just looking at house consumption, we're looking at that average of right at about $60 a month. Cable and internet. I have my that service through Verizon. Years ago, I dropped the home phone, so it is my bill is $210 per month to Verizon. That includes a pretty basic cable package, and it includes high-speed internet. If you broke out that $210, about $110 of that is the cable TV, and about $100 is high-speed internet. I know a lot of folks are getting away from the basic cable these days, and I have come close to making that plunge. I just haven't done it yet. So that's kind of what you're looking at approximately for cable and internet. And obviously if you add a ton of movie channels and stuff like that, you're looking at more. Natural gas. So for reference, this house has gas heat. in the basement, and it has gas heat on the first floor. When you get up to the second floor, we're talking heat pump. Also gas, we have a tankless hot water heater, we have gas fireplace, and gas for the cooktop. So spring, summer, and fall, this is when the heat is not typically running. We have a tiny gas bill. We're talking about $50 a month for gas. But then obviously in the winter when we're cutting on the heat, that climbs to about a $200 a month gas bill. And I will tell you, it probably could be higher, but I do not like paying the natural gas company, so we keep our home a little bit on the cooler side in the winter. We're pretty cognizant of where that thermostat is. And it's not like the Bahamas in here in the winter where you want to walk around in shorts and a t-shirt. I go to some people's houses and you walk in and it's like, oh my Lord, it feels like summer in here because you guys have the heat on so high. But I'm not one of those people that likes to pay the the natural gas guy. So I keep it at a moderate heat level in the winter. Now this is the biggie. This is one where everybody wants to know: electricity. This is typically your biggest bill of any month. In the spring and the fall, I'm going to average an electric bill of about $250. That may sound high, but remember, I do have a fair amount of square feet here. In the winter, that drops down to about $175. I think that's more of, maybe there's a little bit of AC in the spring and the fall, and I'm really running zero AC in the spring, and in the winter there's absolutely none. So that bill comes down just slightly in the winter. Now the biggie, summer, when it gets hot, and it can get hot here in the RVA. We have some, July and August can be pretty stifling. And unlike the winter, I do not mind paying a little more in the summer because I like to be cold. I cannot stand a hot house. So we run it pretty aggressively, our air conditioning in the summer. And I average around $350. I've had some in the low threes, some get up to just touching the fours. So I'm going to say $350 is going to be my average summer bill. And again, but part of that are the basements. Whenever you have a house with a basement, that square footage, it is so well insulated being under the ground that it really does not take a whole lot to heat and cool a basement. So even though that square footage is there, that's not really factoring all that much into the heating and cooling of this house like most basements don't. So that is, you'll always notice if you go down to the basement in the summer, it's going to be the coolest spot in the entire house. So that's kind of it for our bills, and we're going to wrap it up. All right, well, that covers the main cost of living aspects of living in Richmond, Virginia. Hope you found this information informative. Again, everything in this world is a matter of perspective. Depending on where you're coming from, we may seem a little high, we may seem a little bit low. So if you're coming from pretty much any state north of Virginia, let's say New York, New Jersey, or you go out west to California, I think if you look at RVA, you're going to be very pleasantly surprised with our general cost of living compared to where you come from. Now, if you're coming from the Midwest, we might seem a little high. You never know. But again, it's just a matter of perspective on where you're coming from. But if you have any questions about the cost of living in Richmond, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Again, all of that information is right below, and I'll be happy to help you out. Also, feel free to comment below on where you're moving from and when you might be making that move. When that time comes, I would love to be available to help you out. And then again, thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope to see you around town.